what's going to this one. And boys, last time this team met, group stages, Alliance, they did lose 27-1, so
No shame,
they
no shame.
mild issues perhaps in that game.
Yes, in that game.
Yeah, was it good?
It was fun to see Fnatic actually play super well instead of just.
I mean, was
decently
it
with a good
Fnatic
draft.
playing super well, or
Yeah,
Alliance
they
playing
played.
super?
They played
okay.
really well. They picked Tuskglass for 3-4-3, and all their lanes went really well. It was just one of those games where Fnatic played really well and Alliance played subpar.
This time around, though, they won't have the screaming crowd chanting shit.
That's true.
It was group
That's-
stage.
Actually, wait, that was group
Oh,
stage, though.
that's
Yeah, we
I mean,
can't we
still,
can't blame the crowd for that one.
Fnatic did turn up when it comes to main stage match.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, Fnatic had a great
Beastmaster first pick, not terribly surprising. One of the strongest offlaners you can get your hands on right now. It's simply the fact that this hero offers you so much. Like, he's like a very solid offlaner. He's a quite good 4 position, and this is something that is an Alliance, like a little bit of a specialty for them.
I just saw him play it in a pub.
He did, didn't he? Played in
He
we
was
just saw him
playing
played
it.
in a pub
Yep.
game, and it was so good, the other team actually abandoned.
2 people.
2 people abandoned when they saw the S4 brew come out.
Well, we'll see if he makes Fnatic abandon.
I mean, it's
Can you imagine that just 2 players are like, nope.
maybe that was Fnatic players in that lobby. We didn't check. It could have been a couple of them.
So you're saying they should just leave right now?
They should. That's probably why we're waiting for this pick. The captain's out. He's
Yeah,
like, all right, we're done. We've been out drafted, boys. S4's picked up the brew.
Yeah, this isn't a strategy thing. This is purely just a mess with Fnatic. Try and trigger them as much as possible. Disruptor was one of the huge winners.
Here
right,
it was,
of
the major. Absolutely.
Yeah, very successful hero. A lot of this patch is quite determined around the them being a lot of team fight and a lot of
Cap, move your mic closer.
Ben's doing these hand motions.
You guys just gotta let me finish talking.
I mean,
we have 3 people here. Just let me finish and then
Well, what's wrong,
you
Ben?
can talk.
This is mine.
What? I got instructions
fine.
from him.
Oh, hello.
just let me talk and then you.
We're fine. Cap, continue with your story.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Disruptor, a lot of this, the patch is all about like team fighting and a lot about mid game. And once a team like essentially breaks, right, there's going to be a team that pushes forward, they clash against each other, and then one team is going to end up breaking and retreating, and Disruptor always gets that extra hero. Plus, the Static Storm really powerful against all of the offlaners of the patch, I think, for the most part. Beastmaster, but you look at like some of the favorite heroes like Tidehunter, that was one of the big heroes that like team fights revolved around, and being able to have a guaranteed disable against him was quite powerful. So it's going to be a similar scenario, I think, against the Brewmaster until he gets B, and that's probably for a while too. Unless S4 just has a monster game, it goes.
I don't think it's as strong this game though. They have the Dazzle to save him from the grave until like I think normally Disruptor's really good versus like these team fight heroes, but like a Brewmaster who like if you don't kill, you're gonna have to deal with his ultimate, and then he can get away. It's a much bigger problem. But it is weird to see them first pick Brewmaster. Disruptor's also really weak versus aggro lanes, which Alliance tend to run more often than other teams.
It really feels like Fnatic are just picking what they're used to in the meta, if anything else, and Alliance definitely are throwing a curveball at us. Maybe Fnatic are not going to us well enough in this game.
I think it's more like they're trying to adjust to the fast-pacedness of the patch by having a hero that can fight mid really early. Like we see S4 play a lot of these sort of heroes, but I don't know, they don't seem to scale as well. Like Puck, for example, is one that he picked a lot, but it just doesn't seem to win games. It wins you a lot of fights and it wins the lane, but it doesn't win games.
Do you think Brewmaster scales particularly better than Puck?
I think he's better at forcing team fights a little bit more. I don't know. They can also maybe... It might help with their like mobility a little bit later too. BOT onto the Brewmaster.
Tanky cores are pretty important in this patch still. Then after there was a shift back where everybody was running tanky cores, and then that kind of got punished a bit. It's still important to have some frontline heroes, and Brewmaster is both an initiator and a frontliner.
One hero I'm kind of interested that hasn't been touched yet. There was a real big player at the major. Well, where's the lifesteal of this game?
Lifestealer did get a nerf, but I don't think it was particularly impactful.
No.
What it was an attack speed nerf.
Yes, it increased the base attack, didn't it,
Yeah,
slightly?
so you're only going to see that nerf impact over like a longer period of time, right? But Lifestealer is not focused on a longer period of time. He's very much focused first. So if he's killing a hero within 3 hits, that base attack time doesn't actually affect the hero's damage or like overall DPS all that much. So I still think Lifestealer is.
I mean, it's great.
Strong,
It's quite good against Disruptor. I mean, having kind of the brew initiation to get inside, isn't that already quite a good reason for them to pick it?
I mean, I think if anything, it would have been Fnatic to pick it up, just because, I mean, Fnatic already had the Beastmaster in their hands. That is one of the better heroes versus Lifestealer, I would say. But Lifestealer against Dazzle, I think Dazzle's one of the better support counters to it. Big armor upgrade, but it's that Shell Grave, because Lifestealer is such a single target focus burst type of carry that the Shell Grave really slows down your momentum.
Now with the Bane pickup, now this is a really hero I don't think we saw a lot at all of at the major. I mean Bane kind of fell off a little bit. I mean, is this kind of indicating what the carry could be? I mean, Bane at the moment, there's not really any kind of synergy in terms of setup really, as there were Dazzle and a Brew necessary.
This is a strong support. He can go where needed. He can help the off lane in case it's Disruptor +1. He can help the Brewmaster mid because he's a poor matchup versus the likes of Queen of Pain, those sort of heroes. And it's also can't really go wrong with the anti-BKB disable, especially when there's Lifestealer still in the pool. I don't know. I think the BAT time hurt him a lot though, because then like your rage is much worse as well. I don't know. I haven't actually played him, and Armlet got nerfed a little bit too.
That's true. Yeah. I guess some of the art nerfs as well, affecting. I guess if anything as well, Bane may be another reason for Fnatic not to pick up Lifestealer. You've got the Fiend's Grip to contain him during the rage. They're going to pick up the Shaker here.
Is Bane better at zoning out Beastmaster? I'm sure he is. He's like one of the best zoning heroes.
Oh yeah, he is.
Like
Dazzle?
Bane's got to be like one of the better heroes to deal with Beastmaster.
He's like tier 1 along with Witch Doctor.
Yeah, I would say Witch Doctor would have been the more valuable pick, but maybe they're preempting something.
Bulldog Brew coming out. I mean, this is obviously a very, very strong, comfortable pick for them. But in terms of ways of dealing with the Brew Mother, I mean, Fnatic already 3 heroes. They've got ways of catching it.
Yeah,
and they've got ways to kill it.
And they still had a safe laner that could easily deal with Brood Mother.
I mean, this is a fight. Are they that worried about the Brood?
No.
No, they've already got the heroes.
Their lane supports are really weak versus Brood.
Yeah.
But if they have a safe laner and a mid laner that can deal with Brood, you're okay.
And at this point in time, all you need is the Disruptor and Shaker, because they are weak against Broodmother, just to put pressure at level 1 with counter wards and such. And you get to around level 3 area, and you could just rotate out. Leave the Sven alone against that. He should do pretty well. He's got high armor. He's got the cleave to be able to deal with the Broodmother. You just occasionally put pressure on Brood from that point, try and roam in and gank her, and you can leave Sven alone in this lane.
Dazzle Broods be nasty.
That is true. So you'll need a good aggressive laning wards to make sure there isn't rotations from the line.
I think Alliance should fight a lot with this early, just because like Sven, if he's left out of control, then the Bane and the Brew and the Dazzle I think can control him a lot.
I mean, again with this pick as well, this is another hero that really doesn't care about the Brood Mother at all. Surely, I mean, 3 kind of reactive armor stacks, good AOE.
I haven't seen the web plus hunger build. Like the web plus bite build versus Timber. The Broodling build would certainly lose versus Timber, but I'm not sure about the other.
So Bulldog might change it around here?
I'm like very certain that the Timber Saw would still win that matchup if that kind of build came out from the Broodmother. Timber Saw matched up against Brewmaster as well. I think Fnatic really planned this. I'm not sure like Alliance. Maybe the Shadow Fiend would have been more of a threat, but I would have banned away Timber Saw. Anytime you're running a mid melee core, you have to think about Timber Saw, and is it going to be good against your lineup? Well, when you have only one strong disabler on your team, which is Bane, and you have 2 heroes that are countered by Timber Saw, both the Broodmother and the Brewmaster, that's got to be your fit ban in my opinion.
I mean, if you're Alliance, how do you kind of finish round this draft up, make it look a little bit more hopeful against kind of the power of Fnatic so far?
You've got a lot of pressure heroes with Broodmother and Brewmaster early. Then I think the best play is to get a carry that is able to...
I mean, it's similar to kind of the Naga
Capitalized.
style, and as you were going to say, Caps, the Terrorblade loader coming out here. Now this, this is Alliance. I mean, against Fnatic, before Fnatic, they knew how to deal with Alliance. Are they going to know how to deal with the loader Terrorblade, Ben, or have they got the tools to deal with
I
it?
like Fnatic's lineup a lot more.
Yep.
They don't have a way to kill Timbersaw.
Yep.
Sven is likely going to have a very easy time in the lane versus Broodmother. I think Fnatic also have better team fight because Alliance has a Broodmother. And Terrorblade is pretty weak to Magic Burst, which I think they have a lot of in the Timber and Shaker.
Magic Burst, cleave damage, high armor heroes, like that. It ticks all the boxes that are good versus Terrorblade.
They can push early.
Is that going to be the play for Alliance?
Yeah.
Just shut down the lanes, shut down the map, take it away from Fnatic?
I think so, especially with the Bane pickup, the Brood pickup, the Broodmother, like all of these point to them having a very good early game. And if they don't, they're in for a world of trouble.
Okay. Immediate smoke out. This is probably just to get wards down. The typical TP into mid and try and get the wards down that you can't place otherwise without being spotted. The smoke is going to be useful for. Plus the extra movement speed to get to lane. Unfortunately for Beastmaster, he's going to run straight into the task.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's going to shut down. Yeah, I'm going to be able to get that vision out early on this area of the map. But I mean, looking at the lanes, do you think we're pretty much going to expect what we would, the trialing from Fnatic going against Bulldog's Brood, or are we going to see anyone kind of dodge lanes or move around here?
I think they should I don't know who they would aggro with.
They can run the Broodmother, or when it's Fnatic's choice.
Yeah.
I think that Fnatic can both run their safe lane as well as their Timbersaw against it, but I think they would rather have the Sven match up against Broodmother so they can have Timber mid against Brewmaster, which is really good. Like, any strength hero is going to have a hard time versus Timber, who just spams out Whirling Death on you.
And he doesn't really get affected by the evasion from Brewmaster, which is where I think Brewmaster's strength is in lane.
Yeah.
See what happens if Fnatic just moving around as a group, eyes towards the bottom rune spot. We have got Alliance with 3 at the moment, but unlikely to want to look to fight really. Not a huge amount of level 1 fighting potential here from Alliance's lineup. Let's grab that one top. S4 will get it on the Brew. So I mean, as we are kind of talking about this mid lane matchup, as expected, it looks for the time being EGM is going to come in for the block. We may see him hang around for a little bit. At the same time, DJ just blocking up for mid one. I mean, is DJ going to hang around here, or is mid one fine on his own? Is he just going to have to deal with the two of them alone?
I think they just kind of rotate around right
Yeah.
then.
They don't need him versus the Brood.
They don't need him against the Broodmother. Timbersaw doesn't necessarily, like, he'll probably want a little bit of help in the beginning, because the best play against Timbersaw is trying to abuse him while he has no armor. So that is where EGM's going to come into play and just kind of harass for the first 2 or 3 levels. But once you get like level 2 of reactive armor, then the support harassment does. So you just abuse them as best you can for the limited period of time.
Oh, let's see if they get that sentry on top. Sentry battle, and Fnatic will win that one.
Yeah, placing it inside the trees.
I'm surprised Bulldog didn't do that. You usually
Yeah.
see the Broodmothers do that.
That's typically the play.
And he doesn't have a Quelling Blade, so unable to eat them unless he wants to expend a Tango.
He hit him. He got just like the instant damage and knocked him down immediately. They might have been able to run him down.
I mean, looking back towards mid lane, as you kind of said, EGM, he has really been doing a lot with the harassment. He's already forced mid one to use his salve. He's down to just 1 full Tango. Still halfway through level 1. You know, S4's a fair bit ahead in terms of the XP. So this Bane presence is.
Why didn't he pick up reactive at 1?
He went for Whirling Death for CS.
Yeah, he only has 2 CS though, and he's out of regen.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think it was the wrong play. Maybe he secured the range creep with it or something, and he thought that was more important.
That's true.
But that would be the only time. I think otherwise, if you're dealing with support constantly in lane and you don't have a counter support, that's the thing. Fnatic they can't pull the Disruptor mid, and Earthshaker mid isn't good enough to zone out EGM. So EGM's doing a really good job though.
S4 already has his bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has gone great for Brew. This is against that kind of start the Alliance need as well, as you said, guys. If they need to get a hold of the earlier stage of the game, it would be able to snag that regen rune away from them. But securing this mid lane, it's pretty big. I mean, this is Timbersaw. How do you come back from a pretty bad start? He's only got 3 CS at the moment, 2 minutes in.
Well, you have to remember that this hero is traditionally an offlaner. It's a hero that can come back. It's not the best at doing so, but it can come back. You're just going to need a little bit of space, and that's going to come down to your Beastmaster, who will hopefully have a good time in the offlane, be able to to create some space for you. Fnatic don't have very many heroes that come online very early. Like all three of their cores need a decent chunk of farm. So this is definitely the best play for Alliance, is trying to abuse the laning phase as much as possible. And they're going to go again on mid one.
He's in a bit of trouble. They'll get the slow off, brain sap, and look at this. He's probably going to go down. EGM with a fair bit of right click. The Spain, the sound will come through, but again, it's cancelled. Mid one, he doesn't go down, but nonetheless, he's getting absolutely beaten about in this lane. I mean, is there any point of Fnatic sending around a support to try and help him in this mid lane, or do you just kind of sack this lane for the time being?
I don't think they should be sacking anymore.
I think Disruptors should have come more, but at the same time, as your Disruptor, you don't expect the Timbersaw to get crushed this badly in lane.
Yeah. And
he only figured out one salve. He's still working on that bottle. He's 300 gold short of bottle. I'm surprised he didn't bring out 2 salves considering how the lane was going for him.
I mean, that was the 3rd salve he's used that one.
Yeah. And he's very underleveled compared to S4.
He hasn't actually like got his money back in the CS. Like he's only just now getting his money back from the South that he...
Very, very slow start. Looking at the other lanes though, both of the safe laners, Mushi and Loda, 26 for 8, 26 for 11. They're fine at the moment. The difference between the off laners are higher, halfway through level 2, only 1 CS. Bulldog, he's level 4 with 9 CS. So again, off lane wise, it's going a lot better for Alliance. Bulldog's doing really well on this Spider.
Yeah, it's really difficult. They have like 2 roaming supports and they're facing a Broodmother. There's like a large part of the impact of heroes like Earthshaker in particular is supposed to be during the laning phase. They're really scary in the mid lane. But their rotations are always going to be scouted out. Not only is Admiral Bulldog a Broodmother that's naturally pushing forward and giving information, but he also has this aggressive ward that is still up, blocking out the pull camp. So they always know if these 2 heroes are going to rotate.
And they had 3 heroes on top for Fnatic and only 2 on the bottom side of Alliance. Beastmaster just picked up his Iron Talon, but he is relatively underfarmed.
Should have listened to what Swindles recently tweeted out about the offlaning. You just always pick up Iron Talon.
It's safer.
Yeah. Like you just get slowed down so much if you encounter a rough lane and then you try and go back for the Iron Talon.
Yeah, it certainly does feel at the moment though that Alliance very much having the laning phase that they wanted at this stage of the game. And as you said, Fnatic, they did look for the rotations. We saw earlier they just try and go for the room, but EGM takes it from right into their nose. They're unable to do anything to stop him and kill him. And they're just not finding the action. Lotus continuing to get a lot of space. He'll get a bit of pressure now done onto this tier 1. And of course, they've sent DJ down, but both DJ and Ahai are just still sitting at level 2. Not a lot they could do to stop it. Mid lane. 1. And a little bit greedy here. Bursted right down. Yeah, it's got that bottle, but S4, he's going to move in, try and go for the collapse, but 3-4-3 will take the nightmare off Mid 1 to allow him to get away there, but still it's very, very scary territory for the Timbersaw still in this mid lane. 12 for 0 against 29 for 18 on S4's Brew.
Alliance need towers. It's not enough for them to have a good laning phase and just be up in CS. They need to start pushing down towers soon. Loda's Metamorphosis just ran out. He does have an Aquila.
That was really well thought out by DJ to rotate bottom before the Terrorblade gets there with his push and block them out. As Ben was saying, like they have to get towers. They can't just like win the laning phase and be happy with that because of the fact that Fnatic have countered the cores so easily with their own. So at that point in time, they really need to be able to get a larger gold advantage and objective advantage than just laning phase win.
I think the most important one is a top T1 tower for Alliance. They need to be able to take that down so Bulldog has more places to farm.
Otherwise, you have situations like this where Mushi is able to farm stacks.
Yeah, Fnatic have decided to kind of move around the lanes. They've now put Mid 1 up on this top lane on the Timber to maybe see if you can have a bit of a better time against the Brood rather than this pretty darn scary as we see an EGM S4 combination on the Bane, the Brewmaster. At the least they'll put DJ there to soak up some of the levels, but at the least, yeah. So Mid 1 should be able to find a little bit more farm up here, start to get the ball rolling a bit, but it's still a very, very slow start here for the Timbersaw. But maybe as we kind of said from the draft, Fnatic, they're playing for the long game, whereas Alliance, they need to find as many objectives as they can at this point in the earlier stages.
The key moment would be the Blink Dagger from S4, and
yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't commit more resources to try and slow that down. And now he's level 6. Fnatic probably very unwilling to gank him until they hit level 6 on Beast or level 6 on Disruptor, which is still coming out in a couple minutes. So if he gets his Blink Dagger before that time or even dodges the first level 6 gank from Fnatic, then Alliance will be in a good position to take that first big team fight with the Brew ult and take some towers.
They're already rotating. They seem to have a really good hold on how to deal with Terrorblade. Just like watch this. Both times that Metamorphosis is about to come up, the support is going to rotate over and just try and pull the creep aggro off the tower as best as possible. Now the Alliance are probably going to get this tier 1 this time around, but even just slowing it down a minute or two is good for Fnatic. They're too late on the rest of their rotations though, and this 4-man rotation shouldn't really work out for them.
Yeah, a lot of resources committed here. You said by Fnatic, and nothing to really be found with it. Not a deny and not a kill in either. It's just giving more space around the map to the rest of them. Bulldog now sitting at level 7, nearing to level 8. He's pretty much got his Midas done as well. This is, I mean, this is fantastic timing here for the Broodmo to have a Midas. It's potentially 9-minute Midas here on top of the Soul.
They've almost got Loda. They're trying to track him down, but they won't be able to. They get the glimpse pullback, and it will be able to finish him off with finally a Whirling Death in hand. But again, it costs them so much to finally be able to get that kill. 4 heroes, and now the tier 1 tower at top lane is actually being chipped away by Bulldog.
There's a little bit of a hiccup there for Alliance, but get those spiders out. Mushi trying to farm them down. Mid lane, eyes onto Ohio. S4 trying to move in, has got the Arcane Rune, so it would be a nice time to commit some spells, but Warslow will hold him back.
Ben, do you think this is the right play?
The Midas?
Yeah.
It depends on when they want to win. If they don't want to put down towers and just take it late, which is more Alliance's style, then sure.
Do you think they can win late? I mean, you can always win late. Let's put it a better way. What do you think their chances are of winning late game against Fnatic's lineup?
I think I would have preferred like the Blink and 2 Midas so they can take down some T1s early. Yeah. Right now they only have the bottom T1 and Bulldog is still struggling to find more space to farm, but I guess he's doing well even without that T1 being taken down. And chances of it late... Timbersaw and Sven both get farmed. I don't really see how Alliance can deal with it. Like, even with BKBs, it's going to be really difficult.
I mean, S4 on top of the Midas, do you still imagine he'll go straight back for the Blink Dagger? Or are we going to kind of Midas into the BKB or anything else that he feels he needs to
Midas BKB, I think it's not the play. I think maybe we'll see a Vlad's come out if they want to do Roche. Yeah. Because S4 is usually the aura bearer. But you can also easily pick that up on the Broodmother.
It's really value with Terrorblade as well. I think you're right. They've already got the armlet on Mushi, which means he's able to farm stacks really efficiently. Okay, double damage, so it doesn't even have that low god strength.
Absolutely, but I mean, 10 minutes in, 1-0. As you said, a little bit interesting that Alliance are going for this double Midas strat this game.
They're going to have to hit like super hard before Blink Dagger's up on Earthshaker, I think. They have to like take a lane.
And here we go with the smoke.
Yeah, smoke and go stack. So let's see what they can achieve.
But without a Blink Dagger.
Where's the initiation? I mean, hey guys, walk up. All right.
All right.
Okay, good gang.
That was
show's
like
over, boys.
Kill if he had Blink.
I don't know. He had armlet.
It was kind of close.
With armlet, I think it's much tougher. I guess maybe like heal bomb into the Brewlings might be pretty strong.
At the least it allows them to get this ward down, and there was backup in case Sake got jumped. Maybe they weren't looking to go aggressive. They just wanted to get that warding done safely.
But if he had a blink right there, he'd probably have like blink plus like 1,000 gold, and then if you get a kill, then you get your Midas, and then you slow this Sven down a lot. I don't know. It's from his point of view, it's probably much safer for his own economy. Yeah. But it's much more difficult to damage Fnatic's economy without a blink.
Fnatic were really trying to put pressure on Admiral Bulldog in the top lane, see if they could gank him and take his tower. They're just going to try and take the tower now, but Alliance, I think, are unlikely to let this objective be away for free.
As you said, Bulldog heading straight up there with the backup of Ake and EGM. To hold off the push, and Fnatic, they're playing it safe. They don't want to stick around. The Ohio Misha just TPing out towards the mid lane to keep that farm going, make as much as he can happen. And talking about farm, S4 closing in on the money for that Blink Dagger. So you imagine as soon as we see the Blink come out, they'll go for a smoke play alliance. There's no
smoke
reason to
into
hold
a
back.
tower.
Yeah.
They have to,
without a smoke. If it's nighttime, so maybe they don't even have to.
They have to take the tier 1 at top lane, and they have to take the tier 1 at mid. Just to be able to...
I think they have to farm 3 more Midases. I don't know what you're talking about.
I bet all about the efficiency of gold.
We could still have a 27-1 here.
We could. We actually could.
We really could. This smoke up. This is a good play. Fnatic searching for the Terrorblade, which they know is going to be jungling, especially with the Sven putting pressure on the bottom tower. So they're both kind of protecting the Sven in some ways and trying to get the gank on Loda, but he's playing really defensively right now.
They got the wards out.
And that's the thing, like the Radiant jungle is so much easier to control in so many ways for Dire than vice versa. So, and then it gets even harder when Alliance still have yet to take that tier 1 tower. They're gonna go for it now.
He'll have Blink right now.
Yeah, they'll pick that up. So this is like kind of like their big play, right?
Okay, they've got to make something happen.
Yeah, get the hero kill, at the very least on Timbersaw, take the tier 1 tower.
They can't lose this fight though. There's no way they're gonna lose it with Blink Brew.
Yeah, they're just going to initiate straight away with the Fiend's Grip there. No messing around. Easy kill, not a second at all for Fnatic to have the chance to react to that.
If you want to give any criticism, it's probably Fnatic there should have just completely abandoned their safe lane so much earlier. I mean, they took the tier 1 tower at bottom lane. Like, what better sign? And they swept through the jungle as a smoke crew. Like, they absolutely know with 100% certainty that Alliance are in the top lane. Why are you still there? It's kind of like pointless. You're not going to get any farm. There's no sense in saving that tier 1. You made it last for 13 minutes. That's good enough.
Yeah, if anything, they like stall with a hog or like a fissure into a TP, but
Yeah.
with Timbersaw there, that's just a free kill.
Yeah, if you're going to throw away any heroes live to try and defend that tower a little bit longer, it's going to be a support. It should never be a core, and especially one that's a little bit starved like Timbersaw.
One thing that Alliance also like they wanted to do but didn't actually get done is warding that ancient spot, which I think would limit Sven's farm a ton. But okay, taking down T1 towers. And are in a pretty good spot, I would say.
I mean, it's certainly a very slow-paced game. Maybe not what we expected for us to go for when we saw the Brood, but as you said, maybe there's a bit of a method to this madness.
He just slows the first push down. That probably could have happened like 3 minutes earlier,
Yeah.
so it's not that big of a deal. And now he can easily build into more auras. If they want to go late, they're going to have a really stacked brew.
They've got to be careful of the lines. Someone's going to get caught out. The Spider's actually going to spot this. They'll get the dust. It will clip onto Bulldog. Mushi now with the stun. Bring him back into the static storm. A nice nightmare from EGM, holding down Mushi for the time being. And the Feast Grid, that's going to keep Bulldog alive. The heal bomb onto the Primal Split. They've taken down Disruptor. Now they're going to look for more. The Roar comes out onto Bulldog, but they can't kill him. Alliance find a second as they bring down a higher mid one. Timber chaining himself out of there. Mushi will get the blink off. DJ trying to hold back Alliance with the Fissure. But a team fight gone wrong there for Fnatic. Great control from EGM to hold back Sven. Mid one will take down Bulldog as he walks into the chains and the saws of the Timber. So a little bit of an unnecessary death there for the man as they tried to hunt down Timber. But nonetheless, not the gank that Fnatic were looking for.
Certainly not, but actually Bulldog dying there was really important because that actually makes the whole entire fight like somewhat okay.
I mean, yeah, 650 gold going straight towards the Timbersaw. They've been having a bad time.
Yeah, the Timbersaw definitely needed that one. Now, Alliance are going to get the space to take the tier 1 in mid, and they're actually going to try and go for more, but I think mid 1 should be able to slow it down with his Chakram.
And at this point, Sven probably realizes he needs to be. Yeah. That fight he was just controlled so much. Even with he got gripped, he got slept into a grip into I think controlled by the Brewmaster with the Cyclone.
Yeah, that's true.
He wasn't doing anything for like 15 seconds of the fight, which you can't really help unless you're big and yellow.
And they also blew 3 different ultimates on Bulldog without killing him. They jumped in, they got the Storm Bolt, they glimpsed him back in a Static Storm, and then they Primal Roared him as well.
Everything.
And they still didn't finish him off, and that was just poor, like a little bit of poor coordination from Fnatic, and also good timing by S4 to come in that really disrupted Blink and Clap and ulti.
I think it was good movement by Bulldog to pop the smoke and then immediately dive. I think it was actually lucky by Fnatic that he was able to catch out the brood with the blink stun because he was in the fog. That was not an easy gank to make.
That's true. Alliance, they're reaching a pretty big peak here, I would say.
Okay.
They have invested pretty heavily with the Midases and such, but I would still say their heroes give them like 5 minutes maybe, especially for Loda, and they'll have kind of everything they need to take the rest of these tier 2s, and that will really determine whether this is a win or a loss for Alliance. I think that period of time is so critical for them to take control of the game, and even if they don't go high ground, just put pressure on Fnatic and keep them locked out, like locked out of their own jungle, because you've got really efficient farmers, right? Timbersaw pushes down waves really quickly. Sven farms through neutrals, as well as the Beastmaster farm through neutrals quite quickly as well. So they've got these heroes that if you just give them space, they'll out-farm you. in many ways. So you just need to be able to lock down the map as much as possible, because we kind of agree that Fnatic do have the better late game. So
Fnatic just use a scan. They saw one hero down there, and they see no one defending top, so they're presuming they're doing Roche. But they're gonna be surprised once that Hawk sees no one in there.
I mean, looking at Ohio on his Beastmaster, I mean, he has got the levels, but this is got to be one of the poorest Beastmasters I've seen in a while. We're 17.5 minutes in, and he's only 500 gold ahead of EGM's Bane. I mean, normally at this point, off-lane Beastmaster, you'd expect him to kind of manage to sat back, at least manage to get a level 1 Necro. But this is a sad Beastmaster.
I think it's because his ganks were too predictable. Like the smoke gank to the jungle, terribly dodged it. The smoke gank into the Brute's territory. Alliance were really quick to respond with that. So their movements are just like really far in between, and Alliance are prepping for it really, really well.
Yeah,
so he's just spending a lot of time ganking and not getting kills, which is where his lack of gold comes in.
Yeah. Also got Iron Talon level 1.
Yeah, he did.
Who
He
knows?
Take a bit of time to
Who
put it up.
knows?
Yeah.
Could have made the difference.
Radiant's bottom tower
But yeah,
is under
the
attack.
Fnatic have been really unsuccessful with their smoke ganks, and this just means Alliance, they're about to get their Manta for Loda. They've got I really agree with you, Ben. I think Vlad should be next for
I think he usually goes Vlad's AC, maybe a Scepter if you want. What does Scepter give you again?
I don't know, there's still a lot of control outside of Static Storm as well that can be pretty disruptive for Brewmaster.
Look at this again, Fnatic. They're going to try and go for a play. It hasn't been too successful the last few times that they've done this. Let's see if they get away with it this time. Mushi jumps in, looks for lockdown onto Ake. The Echo Saber hits, but again, EGM's control the Nightmare. Ake will still get bursted down by the Timbersaw. The Slam comes through, but they've lost the Shaker. Ohio getting melted by Loaded. Double kill for the Terrorblade. He'll turn his attention towards mid-1. Mid-1 trying to throw the Chakram back, trying to bring down EGM. Incredibly low Timber chains across. Still, they've only killed Ake at the start of this fight. Mushi's being gripped. Loader's going to bring down the Sven. Triple kill for the man. The Timbersaw mid-1 has to kill himself at the end of it, and Fnatic again. I mean, it seems like this game they're pretty much giving us a demonstration on how not to gank and rotate. It's just not gone right any time for them.
Oh, they have better late game. I don't really know why they're forcing it so deep. And they should have better jump. If they see so many heroes there with Beastmaster Hawk, you just back off and take another fight another day. But Alliance are always prepared for these fights. First T1, fight top, all the heroes were there. T2 on bottom, everyone's there. And they'll just get a free road.
I was so sad. Like, what, you needed another quarter second or something like that for Sven to swing his sword again to hit Loda and finish him off? Instead, he gets beam scripted right at the perfect time by EGM. Then they get the whole swapperoo, and next thing you know, Loda not only full health, but now has an Aegis.
I mean, it really is just the start of the fight, just the initial slowdown where EGM just goes, all right, here comes the Sven God Strength Nightmare.
Yeah.
And as you said, he needs that BKB, but he's not got any of the gold for it. He's only got 100 gold in the bank. He's so far away from that BKB, Mushi. I mean, the question is, as you said, they do have the potential to take it late. If you're Fnatic now, surely you just slow it down, farm up the
thought they
Sven's
would have done it
BKB,
after the first one.
and then gone.
I think one thing that happened at the start of the fight too, like he blinks in and then I don't think he warcried his team because his teammates died really quickly to the Terrorblade. He
caught some of the heroes. They did it preemptively.
Okay.
Before he blinked in.
Did Ohio get one?
I don't think Ohio did, because he melted.
Yeah, he melted really quickly.
I think Ohio was farther to the right, and that's also why he got isolated by Loda. So that, like, there's just like another example of the fact that, like, Fnatic didn't even execute that jump very well because they didn't get they didn't have all their heroes grouped up when Sven jumps in. They weren't close enough for Beastmaster to be able to get a follow-up disable on someone like the Brewmaster if the Nightmare comes in.
And now they have the blink on Earthshaker, so this should help some of their team fight issues, which we didn't consider a problem earlier, but now that they've lost so many fights and huge economic disadvantage compared to Alliance, it's looking pretty bleak.
And I'm kind of, well, one of the players on a hero that we really expected a good performance from. We're getting it. Bulldog at the moment, it's top of the levels, level 15 on the Broodmother. He's 2-on-1, and he's now got his BKB done as well. So, I mean, you are not killing Bulldog in these team fights unless Mushi gets a lockdown onto him, and even at that, if Bulldog's got the life still with the ult, he should be able to live through the damage. And he's got, obviously, the team to back him up. This is an incredibly scary spider at 21 minutes in.
Sven has to get BKB. Even then, he has to deal with incapacitating fight. So I don't know.
Go on to EGM here, the supports from Ake. Gets off the grave. Bulldog, eyes towards 343 with the BKB trying to lock down. You're going to see the ult come out here from S4. They're going to try and find more. They've lost EGM. Bishop from DJ holding back Alliance, but again, they're just fighting over it. The stun's there. DJ will jump in with a slam. Mushi as well, looking to finish up Loader, but the control again. There's too much Loader with the Sunder. Heals himself back up, taking the life of Fnatic. 2 for 1 at the moment, and Alliance, they're not done. Eyes towards Mushi. The slow from Bulldog, jumping into him with the passive, and Mushi tries to turn, but the mischance, he can't hit anyone. Mid one, trying to fight for it, bringing Loader incredibly low, but Ake's still alive here. He actually finished off this Terrorblade. Loader duking it out. Alliance, they catch this man. He's a little bit low on mana mid one. Has not got the deny. He's going to go for the straight TP out. No way to cancel it. But once more, Alliance just finding the fight 3 for 1. This time Fnatic lose Mushi. You know, the hero that they need to keep alive, they need to find his BKB, and this is just not the way to show up on a LAN for Fnatic. Sure.
Loda had Aegis too.
Why were they fighting that?
I don't know.
Like I thought like, oh, like look how smart mid one is being. He's gonna like he's scouting out the smoke. He knows that his bottom lane Sven is gonna get wrapped around on.
And now they're losing DJ. They're ward in the mid lane from Alliance, so they love to pop down, paying dividends here as they jump in and clean up another 12 for 4. I mean, do you think this was Fnatic just getting a little bit too cocky after kind of the last game, where it's 27 for 1 that they played against Alliance, and just underestimated how well Alliance can play?
Maybe it's a little bit of that. Maybe it's, I don't know. I think Fnatic are probably just like looking a bit rusty right now.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much playtime these teams have gotten since coming back from Manila, but they just look like really off. This is not like even if like strategically they fell behind due to making some mistakes or something. Like this is just oftentimes bad team fight execution. And now Alliance, like they're incredibly big. They've got the Vlads on the Brewmaster. Like all they really need, in my opinion, to secure this would be, I still think BKB would be good, just to make sure the S4 like guarantees gets off that ultimate, because it's a team fight winner. I guess so, but
they haven't, like he hasn't really been close to dying at all.
Yeah.
The evasion is like the Timber Saw's not big enough. The Sven keeps getting kited. Like he had an instant cyclone on him.
Been in. He's going to the clap. He's going to go with the Primal Split as well. Looking for the lock onto Ohio, making sure to bring the Beastmaster out of the fight before the Roar can come out. Just going to be the one kill, but with the tier 2 down, Brewers out. They'll look to try and find a lock onto mid one. They don't have a huge amount of control outside of the split illusions. But nonetheless, it's going to allow them to do a fair bit to the man. They'll just turn their attention towards the tier 3. See what they can do, control, look for Asphalt, but again, they won't catch him initially. They do get the glimpse back onto him, but he's glimmer caped up. It's going to be Nightmare initiated. EGM tries to land to dodge him, but the DJ coming in with a slam and they're dead! Alliance getting ripped to shreds here. They've got to run. They've got to hide. Loader, he has got the Aegis, but Fnatic, they'll look to take him down a second time here. He'll Sunder Mushi try and beat down him with the reflection, nearly getting the kill, but the armlet toggle's real. They'll jump back in, the slam down, the beat down onto the Terrorblade, and Alliance losing 3 heroes there on a high ground push gone incredibly wrong, and all off the back of this man really. DJ during the major, we saw him with those huge AoEs, those huge ults, won the Enigma, and here we're seeing the Echo Slam from the high ground, just allowing Fnatic to swing right back into the game.
Yeah, well played by TJ, finding that opening. Fnatic also played that smart, like rather slow. They kind of went in and out until they finally saw their opening. Alliance, I think, just got a bit sloppy in their positioning going high ground like that. Like they had a really big advantage. All they had to do was just play this safe and chip away at the tier 3. Like, for example, they would like, even just starting out that fight, it was just really weird. S4 being locked in by the chakra. Right, as soon as he came back from his ultimate, he was going to get hit by that chakra and wouldn't be able to blink away immediately. So it was already, like, just because of his positioning, forcing Alliance into a fight that was going to be uphill. And that just naturally groups people up, and as you could see from that Echo Slam.
I mean, Ben, if you're Alliance, if you have got this lead, you can't afford to throw stuff like that away, can you? When you're going for the high ground, especially as we talked to the fact that Alliance, they need to keep ahead. Yeah, they are comfortably ahead. But another fight like that, suddenly Fnatic, they're swinging right back into it, and they've got heroes to deal with your lineup.
Might just want mass BKBs, as Kat mentioned, will be a lot safer for them. Like maybe if they had Grave on the Brew or the Grave onto Terrorblade, like before his first Aegis fell, they could have maybe even broke even in that fight. But yeah, that was just a disaster. He really did not respect that shotgun. When I saw the shotgun come out, I was like, this thing's about to end.
Yeah, I was just like, S4? S4? Maybe he thought that he would be able to. Ooh,
Yeah,
mid one?
that's still risky. It's unnecessary.
Straight up grip onto the
exactly.
man. They will start to move over some of Fnatic. Can Mid1 get himself out here with the Timber Chain? Will get himself up. Yeah, has a decop the active with the Bloodstone. And he's probably going to need to use it here. And there we have it. Takes his own life to make sure Alliance can't.
So, I mean, that's a pretty big difference, right? The Shivas, you could see in a fight like that where they've got a full Fiend's Grip on him, and Admiral Bulldog, who's pretty farmed on the Broodmother, can't quite eat through the Timber Saw. That Shivas makes a world of difference, and that all comes to that last, like, poorly executed high ground push by Alliance, feeding a lot of gold back into the hands of Fnatic. And now, if they get a successful smoke gank,
They're
already,
back on top, surely. If they
They
get
drew the line, they use scan. They're not going to walk into the scan, but it's very obvious at this point. Do have BOTs on Timber. He can come on that boar or the Hawk if he needs to. Tired using a scan, making sure they're pushing up that hill safely. And let's see if they run into S4. That's the only one they could possibly run into with the smoke, but it will run out.
So 2 minutes till Roche is back up as well, so potentially going to see both teams hold on for that one. I mean, Mushi, he's sitting on a lot of gold, but you would imagine he picks up the BKB. Is there nothing else that he could be thinking about?
MKB is also an option.
He is, yeah.
With
MKB.
a Lotus Orb on your teammate.
Okay.
That's the other option, I would say, but he
Yeah, he's going MKB, you just said that.
who's getting the Lotus Orb?
I don't think anyone. But if he has a Lotus, then
Yeah.
it's really good. It dispels Drunken Haze, like self-cyclones. What else is good? Self-sleeps on Bane, you can't really get Fiend's Grip.
You can't Cyclone somebody down from, or you can't Lotus Orb somebody down from Cyclone, though, right?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
That
Would be nice.
for me makes the big difference.
Yeah. You can blink out of it though, which I think is kind of nice. And he does have to deal with Incapacitating Bite and Drunken Brawler and Drunken Haze. So 3 sources of evasion. If he gets BKB, it's only good versus the Drunken Haze. And then he still has to deal with Bite and the Brawler. So that's reasonable.
I would just be concerned that Alliance are, like they say they get this next Aegis and they go for the high ground push and they're able to get that disable on the Sven. Just throw him up in the Cyclone. They just, at that point in time, force Fnatic to go into a fight, otherwise they just take the buildings.
But I like this from Mushi because he trusts his team. If you don't trust your team, you get BKB. He's like, screw you, I don't trust you guys to disable the Bane. Like, they have a Disruptor with the AoE ultimate, they have a long-range Fidget that can stop the grip. So he trusts his team to be able to get him out of the disables. It hasn't worked out in any of the prior fights, but yet he's still trusting his team.
It looks like DJ
Mushi
could actually get the Lotus Orb pretty.
Yeah, Lotus Orb is, I think, imperative if you're going a no BKB Sven.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, that's exactly what he's looking for by the looks of it. I mean, just looking at the individual net worth as well, the fact that, mid one, this was a man who was not having a great time. He's now 3k ahead of a Brood that's been rocking a Midas since kind of the early stages of the game. This, that failed high ground push, and then the way that Fnatic have been able to keep up the farmers, it is starting to get to the point where it's kind of shut down all but everything that Alliance built up at the start. And as you mentioned, if they can find one successful team fight or gank Fnatic, this is going to be swinging right back around to being their game.
But if they kill Mushi right now, then he doesn't have buyback. They take Aegis and they can probably take Rax. So
it's very delicate.
They're on a cliff.
Yeah, look how like Fnatic actually did not know that Alliance weren't rushing before the Hawk got into the pit, and they were still playing.
Oh, there's
like,
a DD right there.
Yeah, really far back.
Loda, that thing. He sees it. Gotta get that DD. Or Bulldog. Bulldog could get it.
I kind of like this push forward by Fnatic. They're staying really grouped up. They know like Roshan is guaranteed to be up. It's like towards the end of the timer.
And with that DD, they're going to take it incredibly quickly, Alliance. I mean, look at this with the Metamorphosis. Is there even going to be a chance for Fnatic to contest this? It's already down to half. I think, yeah, that DD, a bit of luck here for Alliance as they'll clean up Roche incredibly quickly. No chance for Fnatic to fight into that one. We'll see if they actually still want to try and look for some kind of contest. I will pop the dust. Find anyone here though. He's far away. Lotus just waltzing in and they want to try and fight. S4 pops the BKB. Ohio immediately gonna go for the TP out of the damage. The right clicks from Loda, the heal bomb from Ake, destroying Ohio. Will just be the one kill though. The rest of Fnatic will manage to get themselves out of there. But Alliance back in a bit of a comfort zone with that Aegis and the free kill.
Here, I thought they were gonna push the tier 2 mid. when they started pushing down, and I thought they were giving up Aegis in exchange for tier 2 mid and just getting like positioning advantage.
I think they were scared that the Brood was going to pop the smoke if they approached from the north or the east, and then they wanted to get around the backline, kill the Dazzle and the Bane, but that's not happening. BD didn't actually end up mattering there. They would have taken it before Alliance, or before Fnatic would have gotten there anyways, but not in a good spot again.
I mean, I guess, obviously, as we saw before, Fnatic, they do have good high ground defense. As you said, one of the ways that Alliance could deal with it is to get these mass BKBs online. You've got it now, obviously, on S4. Loda actually picking up the
He doesn't need BKB.
Yeah, he's going full in on the deeps department here with the Crystallis. I mean, is this the build that we expect to see on Terribly? Do we always see crit being picked up? That's
normally you go
common.
Butterfly, but you've already seen Sven get an MKB.
So, I mean, is there no reason to get... Yeah, I guess you don't need an MKB yourself.
You could get a
There's
heart.
not really any move. Yeah,
Heart's
no,
okay too.
Oh, Mushi's BKB is up. Just barely gets ahead of these heroes.
Yeah, S4's in a bit of trouble here. No, he's not. BKBs. He's not messing around. He realizes that if he lets himself be pulled back there, he's a goner. And in fact, they want to try and fight into it. They want to try and use this, see if they can get a jump in. They do have a primal split. Alliance, they are fully there. And in fact, Lucy going in onto S4, trying to bring the man down, but immediately the grave reaction here, S4, he's going to get the chance to get the primal split out, and they'll look to control mid-1 on the backlines. Bordon trying to go in. Ahio will hold him back with the raw hit. Beamscript onto mid-1 as they'll try and finish off the Timbersaw. Alliance, they'll take one. Can they find themselves anything more here? Ahio immediately going to go for the TP out, but the Cyclone's there to cancel it. Brought down, and a second one for Alliance there. They'll get the rest out, Fnatic, but again, Mushi jumps in, says he wants to fight, but jumping into Alliance like that, MKB, it's just not going to be enough damage against the sustainability of Alliance's lineup.
Mushi just can't initiate like that. I know they blew the BKB on the Brewmaster, but it's like he forgot about the Shallow Grave of the Dazzle, which was the big problem for the first 20 minutes of the game anyway. So, I don't know, that was just kind of weird. And now DJ, yeah, he's fine. But the fact that like he can't be the one to jump in, the hero that does jump in, if they see an opportunity at all, is actually kind of like in a way Earthshaker, I think, because he has the larger AoE stuns, and he has to be able to both catch S4 and also Ake, being able to at least hit him with the Fisher while his team, you know, gets the damage on S4 before the Shallow Grave comes out.
I think
that's the only opportunity.
He just had faith in his team. Like Echo wasn't used, Disruptor ulti wasn't used. Like no one really went in and committed besides the Timbersaw, and you know, Disruptor doesn't have Blink, so it's not like he can really do that much. But Beastmaster really didn't get the ideal Primal Roar target or timing. He also does not have a Blink or a Necro 3, and it's just Sven trying to do too much when he really shouldn't have to do this much.
I mean, I think there's like one thing to be said about having faith in your team, but there's another thing about like setting your team up for success. And you solo blinking so far forward ahead of everyone else isn't really setting you up for success, you know?
He saw an opportunity. He's like, okay, well, this is probably the best fight that we're going to take with their BKB down. And he probably saw the gem on the Brewmaster too. It's like, okay, if we can win this fight, get the gem, we'll be right back in the game. And they only lost 2 heroes, right? Mid-1 in Ohio, so not that bad for them. Not great, but they're kind of limited on opportunities at this point, especially when Alliance is beating on your door with an Aegis.
They don't have any buybacks either. They need 500 gold on pretty much everyone for that fight.
Still Alliance to achieve it. Well, they're coming out with the Metamorphosis. They do obviously have great wave clear, Fnatic. They are dealing with those illusions very nicely, but the tier 3 is only on 9 HP, so Alliance should be able to clean that up with a bit of a movement in. And S4's going straight in with the BKB, looking for the focus onto mid-1. He'll move himself away, but that's all that Alliance wanted. They wanted to create this way to beat down onto these racks. Mid-1 jumping in, looking for the burst on Loader immediately with the Sunder. Swapping the life, getting mid-1 forced right back. And Alliance, they should be able to clean up the melee racks in. It looks like Fnatic won't have an answer for the time being. They're hanging around on the sidelines. Maybe DJ looking for some kind of initiation with a Blink Echo Slam. They'll bring back Loda into the middle of it, looking for the Thunder onto Ohio, but he gets the roar out in time. It doesn't matter though, they still lose the Beastmaster. Loda, Glimmer Caked up, the Fisher, the Static Storm is there. The Shallow Grave though, Loda, he can fight through this one. He'll still try and beat down onto the backliners to get the Disruptor kill. He's got the Aegis. He'll be back for round 2 and Bulldog still just man fighting against Lucy. There's the slam. Comes in from DJ. They'll find one, but S4, he's back in on this. The stun control, DJ's doing it. They'll find it. They'll find Loda and S4 now. The last one remaining. Fnatic, they look to clean this one up as well. They're going to do it again, and it's DJ's plays, really. This control that this man offers in the fight, allowing Fnatic to hold like this. They do still lose all the racks, but it's quite a costly racks. I mean, you look at the gold swing, over 5k in favor of Fnatic because of that fight. And they have got a lineup to deal with the stronger creeps at 36 minutes in, so even though they got the racks, is it necessarily worth it for Alliance?
I think now they need to pick up PQP on Terrorblade. The only reason that fight started out was because of the glimpse on the Terrorblade. Yeah. And he did have the Aegis. The Aegis almost expired before he died with it, so that would have been even worse for Alliance. But if one glimpse can just ruin your entire push, just like that, even when you have the Aegis, you have to get BK. Which is kind of sad, I guess, if you're Alliance, but that's the reality of it. They all need BKBs on their cores.
Yeah, plus the fact that if he does somehow end up getting bursted in a scenario, he doesn't want to be coming back into like Static Storm, right? You'll essentially miss 2 opportunities to be able to use Sunder. So I think Ben is definitely right. BKB is a must-have for Alliance before they go for the next high ground push. I wouldn't say it's like a win or loss either way for Alliance. They had to take a lane of Rax sometime really soon, and they did take that lane of Rax at a cost of a pretty hefty team fight and a lot of Bloodstone charges back in favor of Midwan. So I think it's actually kind of even. We're still at the status quo where Alliance still need to go for that next high ground push. It's going to be delayed a bit by them getting BKB. It might even be waiting for the next Roshan. But I don't imagine that Fnatic are going to be that much stronger than they were last fight in comparison.
And Alliance are getting all their auras up. We see AC up on the Brood, we see Vlad's up on the Brew, we have a Medallion up on the Dazzle, and that's kind of all the auras that you need at this point. I guess maybe a Drums, but that's not really that important this late. And then Fnatic, they don't have an AC yet, so still having to deal with some minus armor issues combined with the Weave from the Dazzle. The Mass Evasion, though, is not going to be an issue for them because Ohio doesn't do any damage, and then you have Timbersaw who doesn't really care about evasion, and Sven who already has MKB, so I'm surprised that they've gotten even more evasion with the Solar Press recently completed.
Man, they're so close to being able to find this initiation on Loda. If he had just come forward a little bit earlier, Midwan and DJ had sort of a trap set up where Timbersaw was just showing himself like it was split pushing normally, but he had DJ waiting in the wings with the Echo Slam ready to go.
What is Terribly going to go for? Okay.
BKB.
I was like,
I mean, that's
he might be considering a heart though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe he's going for a heart. Because once it gets to that point where your BKB is 5 seconds, you're like, crap, maybe I shouldn't purchase the BKBs. But if you can just win the game with the BKB, that's the right item.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, Alliance, they're not on, like, a huge timer or anything, but they should try and end the game in the next 10 minutes. Or at least take a second lane of Rax and have Fnatic kind of crippled.
Yeah, Timbersaw is getting to that point where he's, like, very, very strong, and he might be in the fight, like, 3 times, one with normal life, then Bloodstone, then buyback, and like their BKBs are only gonna be up for one of those engagements. And now that he has Scepter, he does a lot of damage.
Yeah, his high ground defense is like reaching an insane peak where Alliance, it's getting tougher and tougher for them to be able to go high ground without taking a lot of damage before the fight actually starts. And then like Fnatic will get to this point where it's like too hard to go high ground against them. It's like almost a little suicidal, but that just draws out the game, which is to the favor of Fnatic anyway. So.
And Bulldog actually going to go in and, for the Abyssal Blade here. So, I mean, this is one thing it's kind of felt like in the fight. So obviously the Primal Split's got a bit of control, but Alliance, they certainly were lacking lockdown other than EGM. And EGM actually going to get a free Fiend's Grip onto Midwan, who chains himself right into the middle of Alliance.
What did he do?
He just chained right into them.
This team was taking the tier 2 and top lane. What?
Maybe he wanted to go to the secret shop, I don't know.
Did he try and do that cheeky chain blink back thing again? Because that almost cost him a fight earlier, too.
I think he might have. I mean, that's a buy back mid-one. Fortification coming out here as well, and could be on the verge of losing a second set of racks. But with the God Strength, ready to fight. Jumps in onto Loda, but the Glimmercape will glimpse him back. Loda, Silence Top as well in the Static Storm. Can they keep this round alive? No, the control is not going to be there. They've lost the Terrorblade. Now Fnatic moving in for more again. DJ with the slam. Looking to beat down onto Bulldog. They'll get the chase down in again. DJ with this control. Bulldog turns around, tries to bite into the man, but DJ, he just Ghost Scepters up. The rest of Fnatic moves in. They'll take down the Broodmother as well. They've found themselves 3. Can they get themselves in more? Oh, they can. Do. They've got the glimpse back onto S4 and Alliance. They are losing a lot of the control that they did once have on this game. Another fight. They lose 4. They find a higher. They did force mid-1 to buy back.
Baited.
But as we can see by the gold, I mean...
That was actually...
They would have pushed anyways.
Absurdly, yeah, in some ways, yeah, but why, like, Alliance also pushed when Roshan was up,
Oh,
you know?
man.
Because of the fact that they got the pick off on mid one. I'm not saying that was actually planned out by mid one, but that was very fortuitous that his suicide actually turns into Alliance going, we got the pick off, we got the advantage, let's go high ground, and they lose that fight, and now Roshan will go into the hands of Fnatic, whereas otherwise I think Alliance would have quite easily taken
and this is the thing as well that we haven't yet seen. Obviously Fnatic, great high ground defense against Alliance, but if Fnatic come running at your base, do Alliance really have the tools to slow it down?
No, not really. They're definitely
no BOTs. And they have two on Fnatic. So I think like Fnatic are much better at split pushing, and if Alliance threaten a split push, okay, Beastmaster comes in, 2 BOTs on him, you lock him down with Roar and Echo, and that person's dead. So
and Ohio does not have an Echo Book 3 yet.
He's been having a sad game. He really has, bless him.
He still doesn't have.
He's holding in. He's still 1k ahead of EGM. That's
well, you know what? They have DJ.
Yeah. And
DJ's the real core.
Yeah, DJ's been having a great game. Also, as I kind of mentioned just a few bits ago, but mid one really, he's perfectly recovered. As you said, Cap, this is a hero that bad laning stage, it doesn't matter. You're Timbersaw, you can still find your farm around the map. You're still going to be a nuisance, hard to bring down. And we're at this point of the game where he's parallel with the net worth of Mushi on his fan.
Yeah, as soon as you get boots of travel and some levels, you just burst through waves, just so quickly that allows you to speed farm and also split push. Quite well. As you can see, he's managed to get himself to a point where he's now...
I think more importantly, they don't have any burst in fights. They have like a little bit from like Abyssal, maybe, but for the most part, they can't kill Timbersaw before he builds max reactive armor stacks. Unless he's 1-on-5 like he was before, but in a normal team fight, he's gonna get full 32 armor.
The best burst they actually have is Sunder.
Yep.
That is the ideal fight for Alliance. If that terribly gets low.
Get low, Loda. Just tank Ancients for about a minute and a half. Get an Invis Rude, then Sunder him. And then kill him. And then kill him again. And then kill him one more time. Because he has Bloodstone.
Aegis, Bloodstone, buyback, Boots of Travel in. One has options for days.
Oh, they smoked. It was under the Observer Ward.
Yeah, this could go badly for Alliance if Fnatic want to play around this.
Yeah, they see mid one. I don't really want to fight that.
It's the mid one bait, maybe. Is he going to go for the bait play?
Look at their position. Look at 3-4-3. He's just sitting in the trees waiting to pop the smoke and then drop.
They're ready. They're not ready.
That chicken.
This is a really weird sandwich by Alliance. All that Fnatic need to do is just 5-man push one direction and win the fight.
We have it, they're ready to go, trying to look for the jump in immediately onto S4, but he got the BKB up and he will be able to primal split, looking to control and take down the Sven, the heal bomb, they'll do it. Mushi out of the fight, Static Storm comes out, only catches out Ake, Lodi gets the BKB off, they've taken down a second, let's see if they can bring down mid. Well, look at the damage Loda's doing, punching through the Timbersaw, mid bomb will still survive. Buyback from Mushi. Fnatic actually get themselves back in this fight. They're trying to regroup at the high ground. Looking to jumping onto board, but again, the control. DJ will come out with the Echo Slam. Not quite enough damage to bring down these boys, though. Loda turning around, looking for the Sunder. Oh, the Lotus Orb Sunder! The Sunder's ineffective. Does absolutely nothing there as he Sunders himself. Ushi controlled, and Fnatic may just be turning this one around again, looking to find another EGM. Will get the TP out. Did cost them a buyback on Mushi.
DJ is so godly.
He really, I mean, every time he's been hitting at least 2 with these slams.
The Echo, the Lotus Orb.
I mean that, yeah.
That just owned.
That pretty much. That guaranteed the kill onto Loda.
He casted it like right as he was about to cast it. If he cast it half a second earlier, he would have seen the Lotus or heard it, and then just like, okay, I don't want to lose.
Yeah. It was the same time.
It was.
It was the same time.
Wow.
I mean, this game. I mean, this is. I don't know, where's this game going? Are we getting to the point where you kind of expected to see, obviously, Fnatic just having a draft that deals with what Alliance have? Has it got too far down the line for Alliance's lineup?
Nah, because they have one lane down and a T3 down.
Yeah.
If they didn't have the structures, I'd be like, yeah, Fnatic. But they've done decent structural damage that kind of weathered the Aegis and the Aegis and Cheese from Fnatic. They've also forced out a Sven buyback. So they're still in that position where if they win one big fight, they can win the game. And same with Fnatic. I think it's too early to call it either way.
Okay, there's some sort of miscommunication here. Mushi blinked backwards.
Yeah, what is Mushi
And Ohio
doing?
wanted to go on Broodmother. Like, he had the information that Brood was there.
And Mushi, and Brood didn't have buyback. Yikes.
Yeah, that would have been a huge pickoff.
Yeah, we'll see how hard Fnatic want to try and come in here. nonetheless. Obviously, at this point where Mushi,
Nah, he doesn't have buyback.
yeah, buyback on cooldown for 5 minutes. There's still 1 minute on mid-one's buyback. He will have that relatively shortly, and he did in fact pick up an Octarine, which he's holding on the courier until he loses that Aegis. But yeah, this Timber's pretty much done in terms of build. There's not really much places for one to progress. Moonshard Timber, upgraded bots. I tell a lie. Yes.
He could even consider getting rid of. If you got rid of Blink Dagger, what would you get? Is there anything that's really that valuable for Timber at this point? I don't think there is.
Could you get Abyssal on Timber?
I think Dagon 5
Lock
is...
down, you know,
Dagon 5
slam
is
him
pretty
down.
No, you want more burst damage.
Dagon 5 for...
Dagon 5?
For Terrorblade is
I like
definitely
that.
the
Okay.
next upgrade.
I like that actually. I like that idea.
Well, why would you necessarily take the Dagon over the E-Blade?
I think like
Because he has pure damage.
Yeah, he has pure
Okay.
damage first of all, and
So
I would say
yeah.
DJ should actually maybe
He should-
consider going evil,
yeah.
just because the utility factor.
I guess he might be.
which
He's saving
he
up a lot
almost
of
has
gold.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like potential burst damage that you might need the extra little bit. It's also utility save against Terrorblade.
It really, I mean, we've seen how much damage Loader can do in these fights. With the Iron Pill he's got with the Daedalus, he was hitting kind of 1k crits.
I don't think the E-Blade is that good defensively or offensively. Firstly, they have 3
Okay.
BKBs. Secondly, they have a Diffusal now on Broodmother.
Ah,
So now it's
okay.
gonna...
They're ready.
I think like a Scythe would
Bulldog's
probably
ready.
be better for him, or a Refresher. I think Refresher is actually the best of the
Okay.
options.
I will see what DJ opts for. Still holding on to that.
Even a
Once you
Silver
get
Edge, I
going,
think,
huh?
would be pretty good. Silver Edge versus like the Brew is decent, and just so he can get his ultimate off very safely, because they're always going to be looking for DJ. They should always be looking for DJ because he's the one that's winning the team fights. Timbersaw, he's going to be in plain sight, but as long as they catch DJ, well, like even with his all his cooldowns, he's still going to die.
The Vis Bulldog initiating onto mid-one with the Abyssal Blade. The backups there. Fiend's Grip 3-4-3 trying to save the man, but ends up just offering up his own life as well. And mid-one, he'll get taken down. 2 kills for Alliance here as Fnatic. A little bit all over the place, very split up across the map, and Alliance were quick to punish that in the mid lane.
Wow, it did not seem like he had 14 Bloodstone charges. I guess he still had his buyback cooldown. 50 seconds left on him. They're going to need a buyback from him.
No, they don't have any buyback on the Disruptor, so no Static Storm for 40 seconds. Alliance, we'll see how much they can do with this. There's no creep waves towards the bottom, only the closest towards the mid lane, and immediately mid-one buying back. Trying to fight through backdoor regeneration at the moment, Alliance, so they won't be able to do structural damage. As Fnatic look to be able to hold, and they should have 3-4-3 back up again before Alliance try for anything else.
But that's what Ben was pointing to, right? Is the fact that Alliance, they win one fight or get one pick off, and then they force you into a huge disadvantage where you now have buyback on cooldown for mid one. They win, they get another pick off on Timbersaw, and the game could actually be straight up over because Timbersaw has so much of their high ground defense, so much of their damage through these team fights.
What if Octarine reduced your buyback cooldown?
Now you're saying
Hold on, Satan.
Come on.
Come on, man.
What if?
Ben's just giggling to himself.
Oh boy.
So Earthshaker did get Shadow Blade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the Shadow Blade.
I think he bought it because he didn't have, like, he only had like 4,000 gold at that point, and 2 of his teammates were like, okay, I probably need a big Echo this fight. But yeah, I think it's fine.
It did come
No. I really
yeah.
agree with you, Ben. With the moment you said Silver Edge, I was like, Shadowblade, absolutely, because positioning is such a key factor of Earthshaker that just being able to have that extra positioning, because you can't always rely on being able to run in and blink. So if you can just sit right outside of gem range with your Shadowblade, that's enough for you to be able to blink on top of heroes. So like Terrorblade, for example, like he's holding on to, well, he bought the gem. Who's holding on to it?
I
S4.
gave it to S4, yeah.
So yeah, so he can sit right outside of the range of S4 when they start going for the high ground push, and he can get a position where Alliance aren't expecting the Echo Slam, and that is a game changer.
Guys, Ohio has Necro 3.
He's done it.
He's
50
done it.
minutes
He
in.
did no.
That-
Come on, no. He
Oh,
had
wait,
it
was
like
it
45.
Oh.
Like he had it like 42 or something.
That's got to be
Well, we
right.
didn't
Come on,
check him because
guys.
we expected 50.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, considering his GPM at the time, yeah.
I mean, how's he comparing to EGM to GPM? That's
Not great.
not great. He's 1.5k clear now, rather than the 1k. Increasing the difference, but
This is why you Iron Talent level 1, kids.
it really was. It's not been the
No,
dream
it was
game for a
it was also the fact that they're gangsters.
Yes.
Like they
They
because we talked
suffer
about it,
a lot
right?
with
It was the fact that they had 3 cores that
Yeah.
all needed farm. One of those heroes had to actually go around and do something. We said that Ohio had to be the person, right?
Why is Terrorblade not building Hurricane Pike? I think that would own the Sven.
Oh.
And
That's a good
he
idea.
doesn't, like, Butterfly's not that great because of Sven.
But at the same time, do you really want to be pushing yourself out of the fight?
Hurricane Pike got buffed.
Yeah.
It's more so
don't
pushing
you
the Sven out.
You just want to sit there in the middle of the turret. And
I mean, you still get the attacks in, right? So
Yeah.
and
can still
you
attack
also
from max
you'll
range,
still have all your
whatever.
illusions attacking.
I guess you
as
still
well
get the
inside
illusions in
fight.
there.
So
They do a lot of damage.
Yeah, if they mean saving your hero.
Yeah.
Now,
Or pushing the Sven away.
Yeah, or pushing.
Or Timbersaw.
Ben is very determined about pushing the Sven away.
He doesn't have BKB.
He does not have
He should not be
Sven
able
away.
to get owned.
What?
What
No,
happens if he
Sven
gets?
has
No, he does have
BKB.
BKB.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
What if he gets
Wow.
pushed back? What if he gets
That's
pushed
what?
back with a Lotus Orb?
He sold it.
What happens with Lotus Orb on a Hurricane Pipe?
I don't know. Let's see what happens here, though. EGM glimpse back, roared up. They're looking to put a lot of hate onto this man. They can't even kill him. BKB from S4 comes in the primals, but EGM is falling low, and he has fallen. But immediately Loader punching into a second. They've taken down 2. Double kill for the Terrorblade. Eyes onto mid 1 at the sidelines. It's the lockdown onto Mushi. The Abyssal Blade gets Lotus Orb back, but it doesn't matter. Loader hold back by the Fisher. DJ again trying to make the plays to keep his team alive. Mushi now pops the BKB on the retreat. The slam. DJ jumps back in. Mushi thinking about turning back into this one, but Mushi, you've got to be careful, son. Lotus Orb, it's not going to hit the punches back. Bulldog chomps through the Sven. The Sunder onto mid 1. He timber-chases himself across, but the damage from Loader is too much. The illusion. He's healing though. The Octarine, he's going to keep himself alive, and DJ actually enabling them to kill off Loader. Fnatic are holding for the time being. Can they find themselves anything more? EGM gets himself out of here. Was off the back of a buyback and a re-entry into the fight, so really not wanting to be caught out again. But Alliance finding big kills on Loader, but again, it's another fight where at the end of it, Loader still dies, and Fnatic, they'd come out on top, I want to say, as well.
Despite DJ trying his damn best. Hashtag salvage DJ.
I mean, DJ, he's making so many
DJ's
plays.
just watching Mushi. He's like, no, that wasn't the Echo Slam wasn't meant for you to turn back and die.
Unless he did it immediately.
Unless Mushi like turned as the Echo Slam, went out.
Oh, look at this
Then maybe they
DJ.
could've done
He's got the jam. He's got eyes onto Bulldog, and immediately the backup's there, jumping in with a burst in the Bulldog. He's gone. 100 seconds down for the Spider. Does have buyback, but this is at a position in the game where Roshan is up for the taking for Fnatic, and
this
that was
point,
a painful loss.
Mushi needs like Aegis and cheese.
He does. And mid one just forced a BKB out of S4. So if they can force a fight in the next 40 seconds, they'll know they can jump S4 and just try and burst him down.
I think they might want to wait for at least mid one buyback.
Yeah. I think that's 1.5 minutes.
I mean, this game it's been quite a topsy-turvy one, as we can see from the overall network. Got up to a point where it's about 18k in advantage for Alliance, but with that Roche, it's going to come down to less than a 5k lead for the boys, as Fnatic have really come back into this one with some smart plays, but also it feels like at the same time just some mistakes from Alliance really in some of these fights.
Yeah,
Hurricane Pike.
God damn it, Ben. I almost think mid one needs.
Oh, he has got it. He has got it. Yeah, he got it.
Do you think mid one should forsake Blink Dagger for like Lincolns? Nah. Against Sunder and the Cyclone? Like, I'm thinking of some way to deal with the Cyclone. BKB doesn't deal with Sunder, but it would be more reliable. Just take.
That's what Mushi's been doing.
Half the time, I was just watching mid one, and that last fight, he was just like Cyclone.
You can still throw your chakrams and just leave your chakrams out. It's not that big a deal. I don't think.
I hope Alliance are standing inside it.
What else do you? Maybe the Bloodstone, I think.
Yeah, maybe the Bloodstone's slow enough. Or just to make it worth it.
You might need the mana though. Maybe not.
That Octarine course just did so much work for him though in that fight. Like got sundered down to nothing and right-clicked away, and then DJ with that huge Fisher and the Chakram over the top, he just like healed up like 500 each HP underneath that 3 seconds.
They have Max and Feeble on Bane, so I don't think Lincoln's would be that great. Lotus? Lotus maybe? I would not mind the last second Lotus.
Okay.
Because it'd be reduced by Octarine as well.
Sure. So and it's an armor upgrade too, which is never a bad thing.
I mean, looking at DJ as well, on top of the Shadow Blade, is there a reason why he hasn't picked up the Silver Edge yet? He's got 5.6k gold on this Earthship.
Because the Shadow Blade is made for him to get into a position where he blinks in an Echo Slam, right? It's
Okay,
not,
so
he's not running in and like right-clicking S4. It's
so
very unlikely.
What does he do with that money then? You still want to see
I think
E-Blade?
Silver Edge is still good because he can use it to scout out the Broodmother, because you have longer invis time.
How much longer is it?
I'm not sure. Let's double check.
Let's have a look.
It's also stat efficient.
Yeah,
I mean, like it wouldn't be for the reason of right clicking.
No.
It would be for the reason that like, okay, a little bit of extra stats. Oh god, no,
Loda.
that's up the
He
Fisher!
gets caught out here. That map does allow them to buy time in the lockdown on DJM with the Raw. Loda pulling them against the BKB, the Slender out. The turnaround will be there. Primal split for the side of Alliance heads for. Looking to beat down onto Mushi. The damage from Loda ripping through the span. They'll take down 343 on the Disruptor as well in Alliance. Be holding very relatively well for the time being. Ohio's gone as well. They've found themselves another Destiny Gem going back the way of them. See if they can get anything more Alliance. Can they get mid one or Mushi off the back of this one? Looking to lead in and just with the final moments of the split illusion. They'll have the Cyclone to control mid one. Do they have the follow through lockdown? They do. Fiend's Grip from EGM. The jump in from DJ looking for the slam to turn it around. But this time it's not going to work. DJ's down mid one as well. Alliance will hold. 4 dead on Fnatic. And this time in a turn of the tables, it is Fnatic failing with these high ground pushes. And Alliance just ripping through them, and again, it's just this combination of the Terrorblade and Dazzle.
Oh god, DJ, that was the one time that he really kind of messed up. Alliance also played that last little bit of the fight. They knew that DJ was going to come back and Echo Slam like he's done over and over and over again to punish Alliance, so they're like, ha, fool me 25 times, shame on you, and they actually split themselves really well. But DJ, I think, kind of screwed up the initiation a little bit and also wasn't able to stop that Fiend's Grip. He should have been able to earlier.
And he didn't get the Lotus on himself before the Sunder. Yeah. There were a lot of targets though.
It's
that one was rough.
And Sven died with his God Strength on with his Aegis, and then he didn't do any damage after that. He had to blink out.
They banked on like this big initiation, and as soon as DJ like kind of he missed the Fisher setup and had to reset it, it meant that Alliance had the time to be able to respond. You only need a second to give Alliance enough time to be able to call for the Shallow Grave and such.
They gotta catch out Dazzle and Bane.
Yeah, they really do. They really do that. I mean, we're seeing it even in that fight. They do kind of try to, but again, EGM's positioning very, very nice indeed. And it is obviously 3 very hard to bring down cores on the side of Alliance. I mean, S4 as well. 6k gold on the Brewmaster. I mean, what else can this man pick up to add to his kind of
Scepter?
Scepter? Still good on the old Brew.
Refresher is decent.
Yeah.
2 BKBs, 2 ultis.
I mean, this game, it's really hard to call which way it's going to go, because it seems like we're on the verge of
right now,
a team doing it, and then back.
Fnatic's like on the downswing because they don't have buybacks, but it could easily turn around.
Yeah.
Next fight.
Yeah, one bad fight from Alliance, next thing you know, Fnatic get control again, they get an Aegis, they get their buybacks back, and then they're going to be the ones taking control of the map, and Alliance have to wait for the mistake. It's just kind of like the natural ebb and flow of a team that has better late game, but has already had its lane of Brax pushed in. Is that the status quo is okay if the game just kind of like draws longer and longer. You're getting a little bit more of an advantage every like 10 minutes or so as you pick up a new item. But one mistake and then you're right back again on the back foot.
Alliance actually going to try and go for a smoke play here.
They want to hit while the buybacks are still down.
Yeah.
And right now it's only down on the Earthshaker, but Earthshaker's a big deal.
It is, yeah, especially the way that DJ's been playing. It's about a lot of the fights been successful because of the Shaker plays.
And if they successfully like win a team fight here and force fresh buybacks, it means Roshan is free for Alliance, most likely. It either is free or it's the last desperate fight for Fnatic, where if they lose that, game's over.
I really need a Scepter on Disruptor. That would have.
Yes.
That would be huge.
That would own Terrorblade really badly.
But he's not getting it.
Nice. He's quite a mile away from it.
That is never happening in this game. He is 4,200 net.
Watch this go to like 2 hours cap.
Oh god. Yeah, I mean, come on guys, we got 4 best of 3s
this is
to roll
first
through.
game of the day.
Please.
An hour in, we could have potentially 11 more of these. So it's gonna be a long day. So they doesn't look like they'll find anything with this one. I mean, Bulldog recent pickup, he's just picked up the Bloodthorn, so this is.
They have they BKB on EGM now.
Oh.
That means Ohio has to be the one to stop it. They've got nothing else.
Sven can just chop him down.
No, or that.
He can get.
Because Ake doesn't really want to grave the Bane unless it's going to win them the fight.
They can also preemptively Lotus Orb.
Yeah.
Grip target. They can also just power through with 4 buybacks, which is probably more likely.
I think you need Refresher on Brewmaster simply because the fights are drawing out so long that you kind of need a second round of your ults.
The later the game goes, though, the more useless his rulings things are relative to Fnatic's heroes. So he might want more scaling items.
True, but I don't know. I think it's like hard for the Brewmaster to scale at this point, unless you already started doing it.
You can kite. You can get like a... Well, we could have kite.
I mean, in my opinion, like Cyclone is never bad, right? So
That's true. Even Atos, I think, would be pretty good against Sven.
okay.
Just about extra.
Atos would be good for Sven. You could also get like a E-Blade of his own.
Yeah,
What else could you get?
I like that idea actually.
S and Y.
Yeah, because
the MAME is useful.
There's no Shell Grave that may actually save Loda from the physical damage.
Oh, DJ trying to go with the Echo Initiation, and there he said it. They've got to take down one of the sports. They've done it. EGM down for 90. Loda punching into 3-4-3, trying to bring down the man, but he can't. In fact, he doesn't finish off the Disrupt. He'll turn his attention towards the rest. Now comes back in, but a buyback immediately from behind. Mushi ripped to pieces, buying back straight away here. DJ, he's gone. Down for a second time, 100 seconds off the map. Triple kill for Bulldog. He'll look towards Ohio. Mid-one trying to do his best to hold down the big spider, but chomp. Ohio's gone. Bulldog with an ultra kill. Can he make it anything more? Looks like he can't. Mid-one escapes. But again, Bulldog just being an incredible nuisance in these fights as he just chomps down onto the members of Fnatic. 3 heroes now off the map without buyback available, and Alliance will look to move up and try and force Mega Groups.
They can't jump in.
Loda! Oh, he's gone!
They did it.
And they might even find more. Bulldog, he's in a bit of trouble as well. He's got the grave from Ake. Turn around, there's a buyback immediately from Loda. He's getting himself back into the fight, Loda.
Mid-one actually has to go back and heal himself for mana almost, because... But that just means Mega's gonna be taken.
And Mid-one's in a lot of trouble. The Bloodthorn's down on him. Look at the crits, the red numbers flashing through, and he's gone. He'll buy back. They do have 3-4-3 back in now with the Static Storm, but as we can see, Alliance, they will be able to force Mega Creeps against Fnatic. Let's see how well they can hold
They need
Fnatic.
a glimpse. They need a
something
good
big.
glimpse
They need
here.
a catch. They'll see Mushi jumping forward as well. Mid-one trying to get the lockdown on them, but they can't find any of the members of Alliance, and Alliance, they'll get away with this one. And this time, a very much a successful push for Alliance. They found all of the racks. They did lose a few heroes. They do have buybacks on cooldown, but Fnatic, they've got to deal with pushing out the Megas now.
Bulldog's crushing in these fights. They're so focused on killing the Terrorblade and the supports that he's just left in the back lines doing whatever he wants. And he had a nice Bloodthorn there on the end, on the Disruptor, so he couldn't get that glimpse kill on the Terrorblade. But yeah, he's just doing so much. The Grave into the heal. The Insatiable Hunger.
Loda also played that well. Like, it's pretty simple, but in many ways, he was in the right position where Fnatic turned to fight him, and he pops BKB and Satanic, and then rendered both the Sven as well as the Timbersaw completely useless, despite that was supposed to be their next target.
Look at Fnatic as well, coming out here.
Oh, nice dodge.
For Loda, dodging it with the Manta style. The jump back in from S4, coming out with a split. Mushi, he's been loads of stuff. Mid-one's going to be Fiend's Grit. They've got the control of the Fisher coming through. Loda, let the Sunder, keeps himself alive, brings down 3-4-3. DJ Mushi trying to deal with the Terrorblade here, chasing him down, but they can't kill the man. EGM slides across. They're trying to get themselves out of this one, Fnatic, but again, they've lost 2 on the back lines. Ohio as well. It's going to be a 3rd down for Fnatic. And with that, this should look to be Alliance taking the game here. The setup onto Mushi. The boys move in for more blood. Alliance, it's been a hard game to open up the series, but it looks like they've finally been able to close it down against Fnatic. The tier 4s will fall. They're holding in for the time being here, but with the Megas beating down onto the Ancient, it is going to be GG, and 64 minutes in, Alliance finally take the game, but a bit of a way to open up the group stages here.
Yeah, that was an insane game. Very well played by, I think, Alliance doing a good job controlling the game and closing it out. Despite it, it was kind of scary pushing that forward and against Fnatic, they did a good job controlling the game. They played passive when they needed to. Like, for example, like forcing Fnatic when they're so desperate, they